Hey, this is Elektron, and this is the return of Avicii tutorial where we're going to remake his new single from his EP. Well, it's not a single, his new track from his EP. It's called Without You. Let's remake the drop of that because it's a cool drop and it seems really fun to remake. So here's what I'm going to do. I have a kick here. Just a basic kick. We're at 128 beats per minute. I'm not 100% sure if that's the correct BPM, but either way, it's pretty damn close. So I'm going to go ahead, lay down the bass line, and then we're going to go through, make the chords, and then we're going to replace whatever instruments aren't right to the right instruments, or we'll just make the chords with the correct instruments. And hopefully we'll end up with something that sounds quite similar to Avicii's Without You. Pretty awesome. Let's get started. So I'm going to use Sylenth 1 here, and I'm actually going to use the basic pluck preset from my Future Bass Favorites preset pack. Alright, so what I'm going to do with the basic pluck, this is instrument number or preset number 61 in the Future Bass Favorites pack. That's available on my website. Shout out to all of you who've been purchasing it. You're all fucking awesome, and you're all that much closer to making dope stuff. Sorry about that, I just get really excited. Let's go ahead, turn off the delay and the reverb because we're going to do that by ourselves. So this pluck here, let's go ahead and cut it off a little bit and open up some sustain. I don't want two different octaves here. So let's go ahead and now write the bass line. I'm going to come down here. Let's take this one and we're going to go right there is a nice progression up, and then we're going to make that progression down. That na 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 no no. Nice, that is some Avicii stuff right there. Already feeling like Avicii myself. Let's go into a piano plugin. Now, knowing Avicii, he probably used a Nexus 2 piano or something really similar, but I don't feel like navigating Nexus 2 as I'm not that good at navigating Nexus because I don't really use it that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this piano because I'm more comfortable using it and I know how to make a nice hard piano pluck with it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do, oh, what did I just do that for? I just got rid of it. I'm such an idiot. I got rid of the bass line. Let's go back in to our bank, load up the Future Bass Favorites bank, and then I'm going to come into 61, I believe. Yep. Turn off that. Sorry about that. I totally just messed myself up here. Alright, let's take this and do it all again. Alright, similar enough. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I duplicated that bass line, and I'm going to come into Kontakt 5, use the Kontakt 5 Giant because it is a really powerful piano. Nice. We're a little too low. We're going to get this. Nice. Okay. So now what we're going to do is make some beautiful chords. I don't know how I want to do this though. Alright, so I'm just going to duplicate that. Then we'll take this again, and I'm going to take these notes, pull them up to a reasonable octave. And I'm going to take everything and repeat it. And these notes here now are 7 semitones above this bass line. So we have a bass note, 7 semitones up is the next note, and then we have this bass note here. Go up 7 semitones and 7 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'll find the next note up. And if we go here, that's on semitone 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we get that. And I repeated that for all of these, so now we get this. Now we have to make the inverted triad. And the easiest way to invert a triad is first make it not inverted by taking the same progression, plopping it down in the middle of each triad. That one's not going to work, I just know that. Then we get something like that. I'm going to take these middle notes here and I'm going to invert them by taking this note up 1 octave, up an octave as well. And we get a nice, beautiful inverted triad. Sounds a little bit like that. Let's take these. I'm going to get rid of what we got there. We're going to do the same thing. Make sure they work. We're going to take these and put them up an octave. Then I'm going to take these again. I'm going to repeat them. I know we got a lot of steps here, but it's worth it. So then we'll get something like that. But there's a layer of notes I don't need. I don't need this layer of bass notes. So I'm just going to take these out. I have bass notes here. Those, and those. We don't need those. They're not going to help us. So let's play this now with our bass piano. Pretty beautiful. And now with our bass pluck. And now we have a beautiful bass line chord layer. Let's go ahead, throw some sub bass right under this bass pluck, and then we're going to do a little bit of mixing and hopefully end out with something that sounds like the man, myth, and legend Avicii. So we have this progression. I'm going to come into menu here and I'm going to go insert. We're going to take a normal sine wave. We're going to open up this a little bit and we're going to try to make this sound like a pluck without having to do any modulation on envelope number 1. We're a little low, so let's come up a little. I'm going to distort it just so we can hear it a little better. So now we're going to get something like that. Let's see what we sound an octave up. I'm thinking they both sound pretty nice, but I could probably get away with using that low sub bass. So now let's do a little bit of mixing. I'm going to call this sub, just to remember that that's the sub bass. This is going to be called the high bass. Here we have chords. Well, it's not really chords, but chords and chords with a W. So let's go group these up into a track stack because these are going to be mixed similarly. And actually this high bass is going to be mixed similarly as well. You know what? Let's not do that with the high bass. Damn, this is where I'm getting confused because I want to mix this similar to this, but I know I'm going to EQ these differently. So let's just go with our gut on this one. Oh yeah, you know what I'm actually missing though? A nice layer for that synth. We actually forgot to do something here. So I'm going to take chords WS, or chord WS here. It sounds like that. I'm going to come into Sylenth 1. That's not Sylenth. And just build a nice preset that sounds like that layer he threw in there. Let's go into our pulse here. I'm going to really jack the voices, get some detune on there because I want this to be fuzzy. I want this to be nice and fuzzy. I'm like a fuzzy synth guy. I don't know about you. I'm a fuzzy synth guy. Let's go ahead, open up these releases so we don't get that horrible release. How many times I gotta repeat that? We can't get that horrible release, if you know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and pick a nice saw for that super saw layer to this synth. We're gonna get a sound that sounds like this. Let's go up some octaves. Sounds a little bit more squarey than I wanted, or sawy than I wanted to sound. I want it to sound more like that. Hint that square and just a little bit more. Now we got to hint in some quarter pulse. Quarter pulses have a really distinct sound. You got to be careful when you're layering with them because they can take away from your dominant layer. So let's come back here. We have a 0 and a +1. I think I'm going to have this one sit at 0. Oh. Got to pluck this one out. Let's go ahead down here and pluck it out. We get something that sounds a little bit like that. So now we get something like this. Oh, see, we have 5 notes playing at once, and right here the polyphony is only allowing 3 to play at once, so we're not going to get that full chord until we put it up to 5. And then we'll get a little sound, sounds just like that. Let's go ahead, bring this up an octave because we got some low notes in there that aren't agreeing with me. Let's take these out because I don't think we need those. Let's take out the top 2 layers, and it looks like I need to retune at least one of these layers so we get our perfect tune, because we are a little detuned on all of them. Let's retune a little bit, and then we'll get something like that, and together with our pianos. We'll get something much like that. Now let's go to our track stack here, and this is going to be called leads, and we're going to go ahead into our EQ here, and let's just low cut everything we don't need like this. That's a little bit more than I wanted there. And we'll get something like that. Let's go ahead and send to a desired reverb. Let's come into Space Designer. Make a really beautiful sound with a really beautiful reverb. Let's come into, let's just take a, I don't know what we're going to end up using here. So let's come into here and just way too big. We don't need something that big. Pretty nice. I think I can do with that one. Let's go into a compressor here and just glue these layers together a little bit. Let's get a little bit of something like that. And what's a house song without Nicky Romero's Kickstarter plugin on everything? Let's do it. Let's go ahead to this reverb plugin here and make sure we kickstart that one as well. Make sure we get that going. And I heard a little bit of delay going on, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some delay here, and it's a good thing we have this not routed with the reverb, so we can use the reverb without delay when we need it. So let's go ahead and put this on a quarter. I think quarter ping pongs are nice in house music. And that's just beautiful. I don't know about you, but I'm over here like daydreaming about how beautiful that is. So I'm going to come to this bass here and mix it with its big brother, the sub bass. And to do that, I'm just going to give it a nice low cut. Oh, that just sounds glorious. Let's come into here. We're going to group these basses up. And I'm going to call them bass. But not a better name than bass. We're going to come here and throw kickstart on both of them. It's going to look something like this. And I'm going to really try to push this as hard as I can. And there's one more thing we gotta do. We gotta come into here. You know he threw that in there on purpose. So we gotta throw it in on purpose too. Get something sounds a little bit like that. Why didn't this transfer over? I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna copy it by hitting Command C. I'm gonna come into here and I'm gonna hit Command V. Oh, that is just beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? I think it sounds nice. And just because I forget what the melody ends with, like, yeah, pretty bad, I know. I'm going to end it how I think it should end, because I forget how it should actually go. So I'm going to take this. So let's start here and go na na. Oh, that is fire right there. And let's go ahead and remake the minimal percussion that Avicii usually has, which is a little snap. He has the like littlest snaps and the littlest claps, kind of making waves here. But I like that because when you have a little bit of percussion, you tend to hear it better. When there's a lot of percussion going on, you can't like decipher what you're hearing, and sometimes it's annoying because you're like, what the fuck was this guy thinking? But when you have a minimal percussion like this, so that's pretty beautiful, guys. I don't know about you, but I think this sounds pretty awesome. It was definitely a blast to make. If you took any value from this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. And if you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. Go follow my Instagram at AlexRomeSound and stay tuned for more awesome stuff.